Naomi Asante's breath caught in her throat as Jae-Won's lips brushed against hers, gentle at first, then deeper, more urgent. His hands cupped her face, thumbs tracing the curve of her cheekbones as rain pattered against the floor-to-ceiling windows of his apartment. She melted into him, feeling the familiar warmth spreading through her chest, the sensation she'd learned to fear and crave in equal measure. "I love you," Jae-Won whispered against her mouth, his dark eyes searching hers with an intensity that made her soul ache. "I want you to meet my family this weekend. Properly. I want them to know you're the one." Naomi's heart lurched. The warmth in her chest flared hotter, and she felt it, the telltale tingling behind her eyes that meant they were starting to change. "Not now. Please, not now." She pulled back slightly, turning her face toward the window. "Jae-Won, Hey." He gently turned her back to face him, concern etched across his handsome features. "What's wrong? You've been distant all week. If this is moving too fast." "No, it's not that." Naomi's voice cracked. She wanted to tell him everything. About what she was. About the eyes that shifted from deep brown to luminous gold when her emotions ran high. About the truth her adoptive mother had finally revealed 6 months ago, that Naomi wasn't entirely human, that her biological mother had been part of an ancient hybrid race called the Luminari, beings who'd walked among humans for millennia, hiding in plain sight. Instead, she kissed him again, pouring all her fear and longing into it, memorizing the taste of him, the way his hands tightened on her waist. Because she knew that once his family discovered what she really was, all of this would shatter like glass. "I'll be there Saturday," she promised, the lie tasting bitter on her tongue. "I can't wait to meet them." Jae-Won smiled, that beautiful, trusting smile that broke her heart a little more each time she saw it. "My sister Sun-Hee is going to love you. She's intense, though she's a marine biologist, and studies weird genetic mutations in deep-sea creatures. She'll probably interrogate you about your research." Naomi's blood turned to ice. A geneticist? Of course his sister would be a geneticist. "That sounds fascinating," she managed. As Jae-Won pulled her close again, resting his forehead against hers, Naomi caught their reflection in the darkened window. For just a moment, her eyes flashed gold in the glass, a warning she couldn't ignore. If you feel this story, please like, share, and subscribe. 3 days later, Naomi stood outside the traditional Hanok-style home in Bucheon, her palms sweating despite the cool autumn air. She'd applied her specially designed contact lenses 3 times that morning, checking and rechecking in every reflective surface she passed. The lenses were her lifeline, designed by Kofi Mensah, the man she'd grown up calling uncle, who'd revealed himself as her Luminari guardian to suppress the color changes and mask the subtle iridescence that marked her true nature. "You look beautiful," Jae-Won said, squeezing her hand. He looked impossibly handsome in his navy blazer, his black hair styled perfectly. "And terrified. They're going to love you, I promise." Naomi forced herself to breathe. She'd chosen her outfit carefully, an elegant burgundy dress that complemented her dark skin, modest enough to respect traditional sensibilities but modern enough to show her personality. Her natural hair was styled in sleek twists pulled back from her face. She'd practiced her Korean greetings 100 times. The door opened before Jae-Won could knock. A tall, strikingly beautiful woman with sharp, intelligent eyes stood in the entrance. Sun-Hee Kong. She was dressed casually in black jeans and a cream sweater, but there was nothing casual about the way her gaze immediately locked onto Naomi's face with laser focus. "Jae-Won, Sun-Hee said warmly, embracing her brother before turning to Naomi. "And you must be Naomi. Come in, come in." We've been so curious to meet you." The way she said curious sent a chill down Naomi's spine. Inside, the home was a perfect blend of traditional and modern Korean aesthetics. Naomi removed her shoes in the entryway, bowing respectfully as Jae-Won's parents emerged from the living room. His mother, Mrs. Kang, was petite and elegant, her hair styled in a neat bob. His father was tall like Jae-Won, with silver threading through his dark hair and kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. "Ahn Nyonghaseyo," Naomi said, bowing deeply. "It's an honor to meet you. Thank you for welcoming me into your home." Mrs. Kang's face lit up. "Your Korean is excellent." Jae-Won said. "You grew up in Seoul?" "Yes, ma'am. My adoptive mother, Diana, is American, but my adoptive father was Korean. He passed when I was 15, but he made sure I grew up bilingual." "I'm so sorry for your loss," Mr. Kang said gently. "Please, come sit. Dinner is almost ready." As they moved to the dining room, Naomi felt Sun-Hee's eyes tracking her every movement. The table was laden with an impressive spread: galbi, japchae, kimchi, doenjang jjigae, and at least a dozen banchan dishes. The aroma was heavenly, but Naomi's stomach was twisted too tight to appreciate it. "So, Naomi," Sun-Hee said as they settled around the table, "Jae-Won tells me you're a graphic designer. What kind of projects do you work on?" "Mostly branding for startups and small businesses," Naomi replied, accepting a bowl of rice from Mrs. Kang. "I like helping people visualize their dreams, giving shape to ideas." "How poetic," Sun-Hee said, but something in her tone felt like a test. "And your biological family, are they also in Korea?" Naomi's hand tightened on her chopsticks. "No, I was adopted from Ghana as an infant. I don't know much about my biological parents." "That must be difficult," Mrs. Kang interjected kindly. "But family is about love, not blood. Your mother did a wonderful thing, raising you here." "She did," Naomi agreed, grateful for the deflection. Dinner progressed smoothly for the first 20 minutes. Naomi began to relax, laughing at Mr. Kang's stories about Jae-Won's childhood, discussing architecture with genuine interest, complimenting Mrs. Kang's cooking. Under the table, Jae-Won's hand found hers, giving it a reassuring squeeze. Then Sun-Hee leaned forward, refilling Naomi's water glass. "You have the most unusual eyes," she said conversationally. "The color is remarkable. Almost amber in this light." Every muscle in Naomi's body locked. "Thank you. I get that sometimes." "Do you wear contacts?" Sun-Hee pressed. "The pigmentation seems almost iridescent around the edges." "Sun-Hee," Jae-Won warned. "Don't interrogate her." "I'm not interrogating. I'm making an observation." Sun-Hee smiled, but her gaze never left Naomi's face. "I've been studying bioluminescent adaptations in deep-sea organisms. Some species have developed incredible ocular structures that refract light in ways that seem almost impossible. Your eyes remind me of something I've only seen in." Naomi's water glass slipped from her trembling hand, shattering against her plate. Water splashed across the table, and in her moment of panic, she felt the surge of adrenaline, the heat behind her eyes, the telltale shift she'd fought her entire life. "I'm so sorry," Naomi gasped, grabbing napkins, keeping her head down, praying the contact lenses would hold. But when she looked up to apologize again, she found Sun-Hee staring at her with an expression of complete shock. In the chaos of the spill, Naomi's left contact lens had shifted, just slightly, revealing a thin ring of luminous gold around her pupil. Time seemed to freeze. Sun-Hee's face went pale, then flushed. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. "What are you?" Sun-Hee whispered. "Sun-Hee." Mrs. Kong scolded. "What a thing to say!" But Sun-Hee was already standing, backing away from the table. Her eyes. "Did you see Jae-Won? Did you see her eyes?" "What are you talking about?" Jae-Won looked between his sister and Naomi, confusion written across his face. "Sun-Hee, you're being rude." "I need to leave," Naomi said abruptly, standing so fast her chair toppled backward. "I'm sorry. I'm not feeling well. Please excuse me." She practically ran for the door, ignoring Jae-Won calling after her, ignoring Mrs. Kang's concerned questions. Her hands shook as she shoved her feet into her shoes. She had to get out, had to get away before. "Wait." Sun-Hee's voice rang out behind her. "I know what I saw. Those eyes, they're not human. The cellular structure, the way they refracted the light." Naomi spun around, and in her distress, both contact lenses finally gave up. Her eyes blazed full gold, bright enough to cast shadows in the dim entryway. Sun-Hee stumbled backward with a gasp. Mrs. Kong screamed. Mr. Kong stood frozen in shock. And Jae-Won just stared at her, his face a mask of confusion and betrayal that cut Naomi deeper than any blade. "Naomi," he said slowly, "what's happening? What's wrong with your eyes?" Before she could answer, before she could even begin to explain, her phone buzzed in her purse. She grabbed it with shaking hands. A message from Dr. Kofi Mensah: "They've found another Luminari. The council is convening. You need to come home. Now." Naomi looked at Jae-Won one last time, memorizing his face, knowing everything had just changed forever. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." Then she ran. Naomi burst into her apartment 40 minutes later, tears streaming down her face, her eyes still blazing gold. Diana Asanti was already there, pacing the living room with her phone pressed to her ear. When she saw Naomi, she ended the call immediately. "What happened?" Diana demanded. "Kofi said there was an emergency." "His sister saw," Naomi choked out. "She saw my eyes." "Diana, she's a geneticist, she studies mutations, she knew immediately that something was wrong." Diana pulled her into a fierce embrace. "Okay. Okay, we'll handle this. We'll say it was contacts, a medical condition." "No." Naomi pulled away, wiping her eyes. They were already fading back to brown, but the damage was done. "No more lies. I can't do this anymore. I can't keep pretending to be something I'm not." "Naomi, you don't understand what you're saying. If people find out about the Luminari, then maybe it's time they know." Naomi's voice rose. "I'm 23 years old, and I've spent every single day of my life hiding. Do you know what that's like? Do you know what it's like to fall in love with someone and know you can never fully let them see you? Have you ever felt like you're living a lie, trapped between two worlds?" Subscribe to uncover the shocking family secrets and journeys to self-discovery that prove you're not alone in your hidden identity. Diana's expression softened. "I know it's hard, sweetie. But your safety." A knock at the door interrupted them. Naomi's heart stopped. Through the peephole, she saw Jae-Won, still in his blazer, his hair disheveled like he'd been running his hands through it. "Don't answer it," Diana hissed. But Naomi was already opening the door. Jae-Won looked at her with red-rimmed eyes, his usual composure completely shattered. "Tell me I'm crazy," he said without preamble. "Tell me I didn't see what I think I saw. Tell me there's a reasonable explanation for why your eyes." His voice broke. "Naomi, please." What are you? Naomi glanced back at Diana, who shook her head almost imperceptibly. Then she looked at Jae-Won, the man she loved, the man she'd been lying to for 8 months, and made her decision. Come in, she said quietly, it's time you knew the truth. If you feel this story, please like, share, and subscribe right now. Jae-Won sat on Naomi's couch, looking completely out of place in her colorful, eclectic living room. Diana had reluctantly retreated to the kitchen, giving them space but staying close enough to intervene if necessary. Naomi sat across from him in the armchair, her hands twisted together in her lap. My biological mother's name was Adana Okoye, Naomi began, her voice barely above a whisper. She died when I was 3 months old. She wasn't entirely human, Jae-Won. She was Luminari, part of an ancient hybrid race that's existed alongside humanity for over 10,000 years. Jae-Won's laugh was sharp, disbelieving. This is insane. You're telling me you're an alien? Not an alien. Hybrid. The Luminari were, descendants of humans who underwent a genetic fusion with an extraterrestrial species millennia ago. It changed their DNA, gave them certain abilities. The eyes are just one marker. We're incredibly rare now, maybe a few hundred left worldwide. Most of us hide in plain sight. Jae-Won's voice rose. So you're one of them this whole time, while I was falling in love with you, you were lying to me. I wasn't lying about my feelings. Naomi insisted, her own eyes filling with tears. Everything between us was real. I couldn't tell you about this part. I've been trained my whole life to hide it, to protect myself. If the wrong people found out. So instead you let me find out like this. Jae-Won stood abruptly, pacing. You let me bring you to my family's home, let me tell them you were the one, and then what? Naomi, what did you think would happen, that we'd just live happily ever after with you hiding who you are forever? I don't know. Naomi shot back, standing to face him. I don't know what I thought. I just knew that I couldn't lose you, and I was terrified that if you knew the truth, you'd look at me exactly the way you're looking at me right now, like I'm some kind of freak. The word hung in the air between them. Jae-Won's expression crumpled, and he reached for her instinctively, then stopped himself, his hand falling back to his side. I don't think you're a freak, he said softly. I think I'm scared. I think I just found out that the woman I love has been hiding something fundamental about herself, and I don't know what else you might be hiding. I don't know if I ever really knew you at all. You know me, Naomi whispered. You know my favorite coffee order and the way I hum when I'm designing and how I cry at every Pixar movie. You know how I take my Ramayan and what makes me laugh and what I want out of life. The Luminari part, it's just biology, Jae-Won. It doesn't change who I am. Doesn't it? He looked at her with such raw pain that it physically hurt. What else can you do besides the eyes? Naomi hesitated. This was the line she'd sworn never to cross, but she'd already lost him. She could see it in his eyes, so what did it matter anymore? She closed her eyes and reached inward, finding the power she usually kept locked tight. When she opened them again, they were fully gold, casting a soft glow in the dimly lit room. She raised her hand, and light gathered in her palm, not fire, not electricity, but pure luminescence, dancing between her fingers like captured starlight. Jae-Won stumbled backward, hitting the wall. Oh my God! We can manipulate light, Naomi said, her voice steady even as tears rolled down her cheeks. Bend it, store it, release it. It's why we're called Luminari. In the old days, we were mistaken for angels, for spirits, for gods. Now we just try to survive. She closed her fist and the light extinguished. Her eyes faded back to brown. Can you hurt people with it? Jae-Won asked. Yes, Naomi admitted. If we wanted to. But we don't. Most of us just want to live normal lives. We're not monsters, Jae-Won. We're just different. He slid down the wall to sit on the floor, his head in his hands. I need time. I need to process this. It's too much. Naomi wanted to go to him, to hold him, but she forced herself to stay where she was. I understand. My sister, Jae-Won said suddenly, looking up. Sun-Hee saw. She's probably already researching, trying to figure out what you are. She's not going to let this go. I know. Naomi's stomach twisted. This was exactly the scenario the Luminari Council had warned about for generations. Dr. Mensah, the man who's been my guardian, he's handling it. We have protocols for exposure situations. Protocols? Jae-Won's laugh was bitter. Like what? Men in black coming to erase our memories? No. Nothing like that. We have to convince her it was something else. Contacts, a medical condition, a trick of the light. If she pushes too hard, we might have to relocate. It's happened before. Relocate? Jae-Won stood slowly. So you're just going to disappear? That's your solution? I don't want to, Naomi said desperately. Jae-Won, I love you. I love you so much it terrifies me. I've never felt this way about anyone. If there was any other way. But there isn't. He moved toward the door. There isn't, because you chose to keep this secret. You chose to lie by omission every single day we were together. And now we all have to deal with the consequences. Please don't go, Naomi begged. Not like this. Can we just talk? I can't. Jae-Won's hand was on the doorknob. I can't look at you right now and see the past. He gestured vaguely at her. All of this. I'm sorry, Naomi. I can't. The door closed behind him with a soft click that sounded like the end of the world. Naomi stood frozen in her living room, staring at the door, waiting for him to come back. He didn't. Diana emerged from the kitchen and wrapped her arms around her daughter as Naomi finally broke down, sobs racking her body. I've got you, Diana murmured. I've got you, baby. We'll figure this out. But even as Diana held her, Naomi knew some things couldn't be figured out. Some things were just broken beyond repair. 2 days passed in a blur of misery. Naomi called in sick to work and barely left her bed. Jae-Won didn't call. Didn't text. Diana hovered anxiously, bringing food Naomi didn't eat and trying to offer comfort that didn't help. Dr. Kofi Mensah arrived on the 3rd day, his tall frame filling Naomi's doorway. He was dressed in his usual elegant style, a tailored charcoal suit that made him look more like a diplomat than the Luminari guardian he actually was. His eyes, the same gold as Naomi's when revealed, were grave with concern. We have a problem, he said without preamble. Naomi looked up from where she'd been staring blankly at her laptop, pretending to work. Only one. Kofi didn't smile at her attempted joke. He sat down across from her, his hands folded. Sun-Hee Kong has been making inquiries. Discreet ones, but inquiries nonetheless. She's contacted 3 different colleagues in genetic research, asking about unusual ocular phenomena and possible undiscovered mutations presenting as bioluminescence. She's also requested access to several classified databases. Naomi's blood ran cold. Can she find anything? Not in any official database. The Luminari Council has been very careful over the centuries to erase our paper trail. But she's brilliant, Naomi. And she's motivated. If she digs deep enough, if she connects enough dots. He trailed off meaningfully. What do we do? The council wants you to leave Seoul. We have a safe house in Jeju Island, another in Busan. You can relocate, start fresh with a new identity. No. Naomi stood abruptly. No, I'm not running away. I'm not leaving my life, my work, my mother. I'm not leaving Jae-Won. Naomi. He hasn't even called me. Her voice cracked. He hasn't texted, hasn't tried to see me. For all I know, he's told his whole family what I am and they're planning to, I don't know, turn me into some government agency or... That's not going to happen, Diana said firmly from the kitchen doorway. Jae-Won wouldn't do that. How do you know? Naomi demanded. You don't know him. I thought I knew him, and look where that got me. A knock at the door made all three of them freeze. Naomi's heart leaped into her throat. Through the peephole, she saw Sun-Hee standing in the hallway, alone, looking determined. Don't answer it, Kofi said immediately. But Naomi was already turning the handle. If we run now, she'll just get more suspicious. We need to handle this head-on. Sun-Hee looked surprised to see Naomi answer, like she'd expected to be turned away. She was dressed casually in jeans and a hoodie, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. I need to talk to you, Sun-Hee said. Please. Just 5 minutes. Naomi stepped aside to let her in. Sun-Hee's eyes widened when she saw Dr. Mensah sitting in the living room, his commanding presence impossible to ignore. Dr. Kong, Kofi said smoothly, standing. I'm Dr. Kofi Mensah, I'm Naomi's guardian and her physician. I understand there was an incident at your family's dinner. Sun-Hee's gaze darted between him and Naomi. Is that what we're calling it, an incident? A medical episode, Kofi corrected. Naomi has a rare genetic condition called heterochromia with enhanced photosensitivity. In moments of high stress or adrenaline, her eyes undergo a temporary pigmentation shift due to... Please don't insult my intelligence, Sun-Hee interrupted. I've spent the last 72 hours reviewing every known genetic condition, every case study of unusual ocular presentations. What I saw doesn't match anything in medical literature. The luminescence alone would require cellular structures that don't exist in human biology. So what exactly do you think you saw? Naomi asked, her voice steadier than she felt. Sun-Hee pulled out her phone and swiped through photos. I took these before you left. They're not great quality, but you can see the light emission here, and here. The spectral analysis suggests it's not reflected light but generated light. Bioluminescence. Except humans can't. Can't what? Naomi challenged. Be different, evolve. What if I told you that human genetics are more diverse than you think, that there are variations science hasn't officially documented? Sun-Hee's eyes narrowed. Are you saying you're a new species? I'm saying I'm me, Naomi replied. I'm a graphic designer who likes spicy tteokbokki and bad horror movies. I'm a daughter, a friend, someone who was falling in love with your brother before all this happened. Whatever I am biologically doesn't change that. But it does change things. Sun-Hee insisted. Don't you see, if you're evidence of human genetic variation we haven't documented, if there are others like you, this could revolutionize our understanding of evolution, of biology itself. You could help so many people with genetic disorders if we could study. Study me? Naomi's voice went cold. Like a lab specimen? Is that what you came here to propose? No. I mean, Sun-Hee faltered. I just want to understand. I need to understand. Why? Diana asked, speaking for the first time. So you can publish a paper, win an award, or because you genuinely care about Naomi as a person? Sun-Hee looked stricken. I care about the truth. I care about science. And what about your brother? Naomi asked quietly. Does he know you're here? Something flickered across Sun-Hee's face. Guilt, maybe, or regret. No. He's not handling this well. He's been locked in his apartment for 3 days. Won't see anyone, barely answers his phone. My parents think you two had a bad fight. They don't know what I saw. And are you going to tell them? Kofi asked. Sun-Hee hesitated, and in that hesitation, Naomi saw an opportunity. What if I answered some of your questions? Naomi offered. Off the record. No photos, no recordings, no publications. Just satisfying your scientific curiosity, would that be enough? Naomi, no, Kofi warned. The council. The council isn't here, Naomi cut him off. And I'm tired of running and hiding and pretending. If answering a few questions means Sun-Hee doesn't expose us, then it's worth it. Sun-Hee's expression shifted from suspicion to cautious hope. You'd do that? On one condition, Naomi said. You help me fix things with Jae-Won. You help me make him understand that I'm still the same person he fell in love with. I don't know if I can do that, Sun-Hee admitted. He feels betrayed, Naomi. Not just because of what you are, but because you didn't trust him enough to tell him. I was protecting him, Naomi insisted. I was protecting both of us. You have no idea what kind of danger we'd be in if the wrong people found out. What kind of danger? Sun-Hee asked immediately, her scientific mind latching onto the new information. And so, against Kofi's better judgment and Diana's worried protests, Naomi began to talk. She explained the Luminari history in broad strokes: the ancient fusion, the centuries of hiding, the dwindling population. She demonstrated her light manipulation, showing Sun-Hee how she could make small orbs of luminescence dance between her fingers. She answered questions about her biology, her abilities, her limitations. Sun-Hee listened with rapt attention, occasionally taking notes on her phone despite Naomi's request not to, too caught up in the scientific wonder of it all to remember her promise. This is incredible, Sun-Hee breathed when Naomi finally finished. The evolutionary implications alone. Stay in this room, Kofi said firmly. Dr. Kong, I need your word that this information goes no further. Naomi has trusted you with something that could destroy her life. I hope you appreciate the gravity of that. Sun-Hee looked at Naomi for a long moment, really looked at her, and something in her expression softened. I do, she said finally. I promise. I won't tell anyone. But Naomi, you need to talk to my brother. Really talk to him. He deserves that much. I've tried, Naomi said. He won't see me. He will if I bring you to him, Sun-Hee replied. Come on. Let's go before I lose my nerve. Jae-Won's apartment was in Gangnam, a sleek modern building with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Han River. Naomi had been here dozens of times, had spent lazy Sunday mornings in his bed, had cooked dinner in his kitchen, had made love to him against those very windows while the city lights sparkled below. Now, standing outside his door with Sun-Hee beside her, she felt like a stranger. Sun-Hee knocked. Jae-Won, it's me. Open up. I brought someone. Silence. Then footsteps. The door cracked open, and Jae-Won's face appeared. He looked terrible, unshaven, his hair a mess, his eyes red and exhausted. When he saw Naomi, he started to close the door. Please, Naomi said quickly. Just give me 10 minutes, if you still want me to leave after that, I'll go and I'll never bother you again. Jae-Won looked at his sister. Did you bring her here? She answered my questions, Sun-Hee said. All of them. She trusted me with the truth, Jae-Won. The least you can do is hear her out. She pushed past him into the apartment, pulling Naomi with her. The apartment was as messy as Jae-Won looked. Takeout containers on the counter, clothes strewn across the furniture, architectural blueprints scattered everywhere like he'd been trying to work but couldn't focus. It broke Naomi's heart to see him like this, to know she was the cause. Sun-Hee grabbed her coat. I'm going to get coffee. I'll be back in 30 minutes. She looked pointedly at both of them. Talk. Really talk. Then she was gone, leaving them alone. Naomi and Jae-Won stood in his living room, an ocean of hurt and confusion between them. You look awful, Naomi said softly. Thanks, Jae-Won replied, his voice hoarse. You look beautiful. You always look beautiful. Something in Naomi's chest cracked. Jae-Won. I've been trying to understand, he interrupted. Trying to wrap my head around all of this. But every time I think I've got it figured out, I get angry all over again. Not at what you are. At the fact that you didn't trust me. It wasn't about trust, Naomi insisted. It was about safety. My safety, your safety. The Luminari have been hunted throughout history. Experiment on. Killed. I couldn't risk. Risk what? That I'd hurt you, report you after everything we've been through together. Did you really think so little of me? No. Naomi's voice rose. I thought the world of you. That's why I was so terrified of losing you. I knew that once you found out, there was a chance you'd look at me differently. And I couldn't bear it. I couldn't bear the thought of seeing fear or disgust in your eyes. And now Jae-Won asked. What do you see in my eyes now? Naomi looked at him, really looked, and what she saw made her breath catch. Pain, yes. Confusion, absolutely. But underneath it all, still burning steady and strong, was love. I see the man I fell in love with, she whispered. I see someone who's hurting, and I hate that I caused that. I hate that my existence brings complications and danger into your life. But I can't change what I am, Jae-Won. I can only be honest about it now and hope that's enough. Jae-Won crossed the distance between them in 3 strides and pulled her into his arms. Naomi gasped in surprise, then melted against him, feeling his heart hammering against hers. I'm still angry, he murmured into her hair. And I'm still scared. But I love you, Naomi. I love you so much it makes me crazy. These past 3 days without you have been hell. Then don't push me away, Naomi begged, pulling back to look up at him. Let me in. Let me show you that nothing fundamental has changed between us. Jae-Won cupped her face in his hands, his thumbs brushing away tears she hadn't realized were falling. Show me, he said. Show me everything. No more secrets. So she did. She let her eyes shift to gold, letting the light gather in her palms. She showed him how she could make the apartment glow, how she could paint patterns of luminescence in the air between them. She explained the limitations, how the power drained her, how she needed light to absorb before she could release it, how strong emotions made control difficult. And Jae-Won watched it all with wonder, replacing the fear in his eyes. You're extraordinary, he breathed. How did I not see it before? You did, Naomi said, extinguishing the light. You saw me. The real me, underneath all of this. The part that matters. Jae-Won kissed her then, soft and tentative at first, then deeper, more certain. Naomi kissed him back with everything she had, pouring 8 months of love and 3 days of loss into it. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Jae-Won rested his forehead against hers. "We're going to have to figure this out," he said. "How to be together with all these complications. My family, your safety, all of it." "I know," Naomi agreed. "But we'll figure it out together. No more secrets, no more lies. Just us." "Just us," Jae-Won echoed, pulling her close again. They stood like that for a long time, holding each other in the golden afternoon light streaming through the windows. For the first time in days, Naomi felt like she could breathe again. The next week passed in a strange new normal. Jae-Won took a few days off work to process everything, and Naomi spent hours with him, answering every question, showing him the journals Dr. Mensah had kept about Luminari history. Sun-Hee became an unexpected ally, fascinated by the science but respectful of Naomi's boundaries, never pushing for more information than Naomi was willing to share. Jae-Won's parents remained blissfully unaware, thinking their son and his girlfriend had simply had a fight and made up. Life was settling into a new rhythm. Until the morning Dr. Mensah showed up at Naomi's apartment with news that changed everything. "The council has made contact," Kofi said, his expression grave. "They've found 3 more Luminari in Seoul. Hidden, like you, passing as human. But Naomi..." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "One of them claims to be your sister." Naomi's world tilted. "What? That's impossible. My mother didn't have other children." "You told me." "I told you what I knew at the time," Kofi interrupted gently. "But apparently, Adana had a daughter before you. A daughter she gave up to protect. Her name is Ama. She's been living in Seoul for 5 years, working as a doctor at Seoul National University Hospital. And she wants to meet you." "I have a sister," Naomi whispered, sinking onto her couch. "A biological sister." Diana appeared from the bedroom, having heard everything. "Kofi, why didn't we know about this?" "Because Adana kept it secret even from the council," Kofi explained. "She was running from something, Diana. Someone. She hid her first daughter, then died shortly after having Naomi. We thought Naomi was the last of her bloodline. But if there's another, then whoever was hunting Adana might still be out there," Diana finished, her face pale. "Looking for her children." Naomi felt Jae-Won's hand slip into hers. He'd arrived while Kofi was talking, letting himself in with the spare key she'd given him. "What does this mean?" he asked. "It means everything just got more complicated," Kofi said. "The council wants to bring both sisters in, and put them under protection. But Ama is refusing to go into hiding. She says she's tired of running. And she wants answers about what really happened to your mother." "So do I," Naomi said, standing up with new determination. "Set up a meeting. I want to meet my sister. And I want to know the truth about my mother's death." Kofi nodded slowly. "I'll arrange it. But Naomi, you need to be prepared. The truth about Adana, it's not what you think. There are things about your mother, about your heritage, that are going to challenge everything you believe about who you are." "I don't care," Naomi said firmly, Jae-Won's hand steady in hers. "I'm done hiding from the truth. Whatever it is, I'm ready to face it." Have you ever felt like you're living a lie, trapped between 2 worlds? Subscribe to uncover the shocking family secrets and journeys to self-discovery that prove you're not alone in your hidden identity. The meeting was set for 3 days later, at a safe house in Itaewon. As Naomi prepared to meet the sister she never knew she had, to learn truths about her mother that had been hidden for 23 years, she couldn't shake the feeling that her life was about to change again, this time, irreversibly. But with Jae-Won beside her, with Sun-Hee's unexpected support, with Diana's unwavering love, she felt ready to face whatever came next. The truth about the Luminari, about her mother's death, about the people who might still be hunting them, all of it was waiting just beyond the horizon. And Naomi was ready to step into the light. If you feel this story, please like, share, and subscribe. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and smash the like button. Trust me, part 2 of this story is going to blow your mind. I need to know, are you Team Jae-Won, or do you think Naomi should focus on finding her sister first? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know where you're watching from. Your support means everything, and I can't wait to bring you the next chapter of Naomi's journey. Until next time. Let me know where you are watching this from in the comments below. I read every single one.